I was looking at some old photos of my workshop a few years ago. That's Hannah with her beautiful cone. And then I thought, well, I've made a few changes in the workroom, and so maybe I'll make a little video of it. So this is my living room. That's the front door. And that room used to be my brother's office when he owned this house. And then I bought the house from him. So when I was looking for a new house, a new old house, I wanted to have 2 bedrooms and the bedroom upstairs, so I could have one bedroom as my office, computer and books and things, and the other one strictly for a workroom. And then my bedroom is upstairs. And so this house worked out beautifully for me. So anyway, here's the guitar making room. Well, instrument making now, not just guitars. So I open the door, and what I have to do when I open this door is put that down there, because this house, the floor kind of slants or something, so if I don't put something there, the door will swing shut. But when I first moved in, this was all carpeted. And eventually, I think around 2015, I had flooring put in, which is so much easier to clean than carpet, in a workroom at least. So these benches I've had here. My very first bench was this one, and then I built this one. And then later on, when I started getting into French polishing, I took away an old piano that I had taking up that wall space and built this bench. Well, actually it's 2, one longer one and one shorter one over there to make kind of an L shape. And then this I've had ever since I started. I got it for $60 at Goodwill or Salvation Army. Ugly red bureau. So I put new handles on it, and I put a new top on it. Masonite, nice thick piece. And what's neat about this one is the bottom 2 drawers, they look like 2 drawers high, but it's actually 1 deep drawer on both sides. And then the top 4 handles are for other drawers. So it's really handy for storing things. So there's my most used tools. On the wall here, I have things like chisels and rulers and gouges and saws and files. And on the back of the door, I hang my broom and apron. Okay, let me prop the door open again. Okay, so let's see. This closet I made into storage, for all sorts of stuff. Containers and oils and varnishes and jars and whatever. Okay, making use of every space. 2 old file cabinets I had that are filled with things like sandpapers in a file box and cans of various things like varnishes and such. And what I used to have right here is that red little tool chest that used to sit here. But then, more and more, I decided I wanted my Tormek sharpening station in this room, easily available. And so I moved, that white cabinet used to be holding the litter box for my cat. My cat that died a couple of years ago, but anyway, it had the litter box inside, and I had this in the dining room. So I reused it to use it to place the Tormek on there, so it's kind of handy. It's just enough room that I can open those folding doors and have a little room on each side if I want to turn the Tormek. This bench was the very first bench I ever made. And for the longest time, I've had my go-bar deck at that end. It swivels and pulls out, and so it's really handy. And then this surface here, usually I have this Schoberg vise on it, portable vise. I just clamp it to the workbench, but I can move that portable vise around anywhere, so it's really handy. And this is my main bench that I use when I'm working on stuff. I eventually put this little vise on here to have a vise on this side, and I made dog holes with these pop-up bench dogs, which I saw on YouTube. And so it's very handy sometimes. So I just clamp something between this and one of those bench dogs. This thing here is to mount, I use it for various things, but it extends a little bit out here so I can mount a vise here if I wanted. I have a little Stanley handy vise. Or I can put, if I'm filming myself doing something, I can clamp the camera holding or rig. You know, you got some kind of posts and things. I can clamp it here. So that's kind of handy. And then underneath the benches, of course, I store things. And there's where I put that red tool chest. This is a very small room. It's like, I don't know, 12 by 9 or 12 by 10 or something like that. So space is at a premium. And I have 2 of those pull-out kind of drawers here that I installed. On the bottom of my benches, I have plywood. So it's like a torsion box construction. But I also have another drawer like this right in there, which if I really need to get to, I just have to move the tool chest. Oh, let's see. And then I have a couple of stools. This station I love. After I removed that piano that was taking up most of the space, I had all this space to be able to put a couple of workbenches, shelving, a little TV, things up there to keep rolls of guitar plans and such. And even these shelves here have my instrument making books and then tools there. You know, little things. Down here, scrap wood goes in that little bin underneath, so every space is used. This blue thing, it's a hinged tabletop that actually was the cutout when I had my kitchen counters put in long ago. But I saved it, and so it's hinged at the top, and I just put these couple of closet pole dowels into those holes there as legs. I used to have this right here, and so it's handy to have that little extension, because if I needed to fully clamp, easily clamp things using longer clamps, because with this workbench, I can't really clamp. My top is not overhanging the edges as many workbenches have. And so I can clamp things to this, but it's not as easy. So with this, you know, it's just a, oh, what is that, 3/4 inch or so. When it's extended and I have it sitting on legs like this, I can clamp and use that surface to work on things. It's especially helpful when I'm doing things like routing the purfling channel on a violin top or back, because I can easily clamp the plate all around on the outside from whichever side or sides I want. So it's another work, but it doesn't take up space because it's hinged and it's just hanging down there, and I only prop it up when I need it. So I used to have it here. You can actually probably see that's where I attached the hinges. But then I found that sometimes with this bench here, I wanted to clamp things from this side, or put that portable vise on this table instead, and have it have the jaw maybe this way, or the jaw this way if I wanted, to make it easier to, well, I think I decided to do that when I started practicing using a hand plane. And so I needed the wood to be in a vise, but easy to, on the right side for me to use easily, and to be alongside and have the room. And so I freed up this space here and just put this over here, because I can still use it when I need to. You know, it doesn't jut into the work area too badly, and I still have room to get around. And then when I'm done using it, I just take off the 2 legs. See right there, that's storage for various things like radius dishes and jigs and things like that. So that works out better. Let's see. This workbench, though, I love, especially because it gives me this area here, and I kind of turned it into my French polishing station. So when I'm French polishing something, then I can work here. You know, I can have these 2 lamps providing really good lighting. And I can have my materials over to the side. Right now, this workroom is a little bit of a mess. But here are my French polishing materials: shellacs, oils, alcohol, polishing compounds, and so on right there. And then there's a little TV that I can watch while I'm working. So I love this workroom now. And it's working for me now. And then that wall up there, those are just some, one of these things was something my father had in his house that I think the gray one, where he had made it to hold all his cassette tapes. And so I took it and painted it and used it there. And then this white shelf here was actually something that was lying flat on the floor, and I had built it to hold the bottoms of guitar cases so they wouldn't tip over. But it works well as a shelf too. So this is my Versa vise, or a Parrot vise, which is the most handy. And oh, right here, these two flanges are for my guitar holding vise, which I made out of, it's just some pipes and what do you call it, pony clamps, or bar clamps, like these things, but they're about when I screw them in, they're about maybe a foot out, and I have some jaws out of thin plywood lined with carpet, and so that makes a good way to hold a guitar when you're working on particular parts of the guitar. And then I have two windows, which provide plenty of light when I open them. And then, of course, at the top, I've always had this shelf here at the very top, and it primarily holds all the different molds that I've made through the years for guitars, for ukuleles, violin, jigs, mandolin. And then over here, I have at the top materials. These are mostly guitar backs and sides and tops. But I love working in here. And then a few years ago, I just had one of those, just the round ceiling light that comes with an old house, but it didn't provide a lot of light. And so a few years ago, I bought one of these fluorescent light fixtures, and I put it up there, and boy, what a difference that makes. So I have plenty of light here when I'm working at night, especially. Okay, so that's my workroom. I love it. And there's my dog with her beautiful cone. Aw, Hannah. Say hi. Okay, so long.